All right, here we go. Had to start this one with that because we're all going to be hearing that a lot this coming Sunday. Here we go. Um, but let's. How about last Sunday, huh? A couple days ago. A lot to go over, a lot to discuss, a lot of opinions, a lot of collective, uh, all rowing in the same direction opinion with some of the reaction to Bills Chiefs. Um, I was a little under the weather last couple days, so if I'm clearing and sound a little whatever, we're all right. We'll be good for Sunday, but just bear with me a little bit here. So, anyways, I think I want to start with the Chiefs and Mahomes and just that whole thing because I'm not taking credit. I've heard a bunch the last couple of days since the game, and there's some national guys that have used the term heel turn or turn heel on the Chiefs as a whole, on the team, on the coach, on the quarterback, and I firmly believe that that's exactly what happened Sunday night and moving forward. For those that are not familiar with that term, and kind of makes obviously sense once you hear the description, but it is the moment in time in which someone says, no, other way, right? You turn heel. So the Patriots, obviously being the dynasty that they were, had their moment. Probably I see moments. But this, to me, and others, is the moment in time to which people are now done and fed up and will no longer view the Chiefs as the likable winners or oh hey they're doing it the right way or they're highly competitive but sportsmanlike and yada 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 out the window, gone, done. That was the moment in time when you saw the reaction that Mahomes gave, and when you heard both his post game, Andy Reid's post game, their comments the following day, they are now the villain, right? They are now the team that everybody, as a collective, no longer views the same way that they did before that game on Sunday. I'm happy that we delivered that to them and was able to do that. Can hang my hat on that one. Because I've said it for multiple years now. I obviously I don't like the Chiefs, but I respected them as opponents. I respected the way that they went about, how they won, everything about them, the coaching, and they drafted good players, and they developed and all this stuff. So they lose Hill, they still win. So like as a whole, I respected them. Doesn't mean I like them. Both can be true. I respected them. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not after the way that you acted in a game where, and this is just the funny thing, and I haven't seen it anywhere. ESPN, FS1, anywhere on the Twitter X universe. The way that just the words that both the quarterback, who is arguably the face of the league, and if he's not, he's top 2 or 3. And the head coach, who many have now said, especially after last year, is this generation's, this football, this last 20 years, he's the best coach in the game and will go down as one of the best coaches of all time. The words that they used to describe what happened was so childish and so elementary. Like, for Mahomes to sit up there and say they took away a Hall of Fame play from a Hall of Fame player, that being Kelsey, and that they should just let him play. What the fuck are you thinking? What is going through your fucking skull? Let them play. So, Pat, let me just let them play. A let them play penalty, right, would be a pass interference, a holding, something that happens within the play. Within the play. Ball is hiked, something happens. That's let them play. A pre-snap foul is not letting them play. It's not. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what was called. The official who threw that penalty on Tony for offsides did not know what was going to happen 5 seconds later. He didn't know that. So for you to sit there and say, let them play, and I agree with you, Pat, that the officials are. Some of these calls are just so egregious, and you're hearing it more and more. I think there's going to be changes coming very soon, not this year, but next year, from the Troy Aikmans of the world, the Tony Romos of the world, these high-level broadcasters that, are paid good money, indirectly by the league, if you think about it, part of the league, the whole thing, and they're very critical of the officials, something I've been very critical for 20 plus years. Completely agree. I completely agree. That's not one. That is not one. Talking to a good buddy last night, and I think he hit the nail on the head. I think that the reaction that came was that of extreme frustration of in the moment, but also everything else that has been piling on the Chiefs. Boo-hoo for the season, and especially the last 5-6 weeks, right? They've lost, what have they lost? Like 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 6, whatever the case is. So they've been feeling it. They're not in a spot where they've typically been. They really haven't been in this spot, especially with this quarterback. So that's fine. Again, you can. I get it. We were frustrated for a month and a half too. I get it. Ours didn't boil over the way it did for Pat and Andy. And I say and Andy because I hope and pray that Andy Reid does not get a pass in this whole thing. Because he's a fucking liar. Because I'm on the topic, he sat there and said that he's been coaching for 40 plus years and he's never seen offsides called on offense. You're a fucking liar. You lied. You blatantly, in front of everybody, lied. Yes, you have. I guarantee you have. For you to double down and say, was it a ticky-tack? Was he an inch, a 2-inch, a toe? No, he was blatantly offsides. And everybody across the board that wasn't red and yellow said the same thing. It's a clear, not even close, he's offsides. But back to what I was saying. Buddy of mine last night. They traded for Tony. Okay? They traded for Tony. The Giants, who arguably have been one of the worst football teams in the game for the last 7 years, record-wise. I think they're tied with the Jets. I don't know specifically at this point. But coming into the year, decided to move on from Tony. Just, headache, health, the whole thing. Ship him off. He's a dumbass. He's a dumbass. God gave him the physical ability. God didn't attach the mental side. He's not there. And you see it in his play. He drops footballs. He's in the wrong spots. He lines up offsides. He's a fucking knucklehead. He was that way in Florida. He was that way with the Giants, and he's that way with the Chiefs. So for you, as an organization, to say, we're going to bring this guy in because we think that we can turn him around and get him on the right path and get him to where he's caring about the game of football and he cares about his performance and his team's performance and potentially might be a replacement for Tyreek Hill. That's what they thought. And they were wrong. And it has come to fruition, especially this past Sunday, but this year. Because their receiver room is trash, is garbage. I like Rashid Rice. I do. Good player. I think he's going to be around for a decent amount of time. Is he a bona fide number one? No. Is he a number two? I think maybe that's his ceiling. I think in a good offense, he's a really good third option. He's their number one. So, obviously outside of Kelsey, but from just receiver standpoint. Pat, you want to be pissed off about something? Or direct your anger at somebody? Direct it at your own player. Direct it at the guy who, it's football 101, man. It's football 101. Line up on sides. Do it. And then, not to mention on the same play, and I wish I could screen share. I got to figure out how to do that. I think I can only do that with audio, but the right tackle is lined up, not on the line of scrimmage. It's an illegal formation. So even if you wanted to double down and say, yeah, no, that one should have been called, but they should have called it on Brown because it was a blatant offsides. Or, excuse me, illegal formation. Go back and look. It's awful. And that's the guy that's been consistently false starting. Had 7 of them in the opener. He's got 17 holding penalties this year. You want to be the team that you think you can be? It starts with you. It starts with you. Pat, and going back to, and I was just about to touch on it, a lot of stuff churning. That penalty and that play was not a game over. Right? It wasn't, that ended the game. The game did not end in that moment. They had 2nd and 15 from their own 46-yard line. 2nd and 15 from their own 46-yard line with 2 timeouts in at minute 12, down by 3 at home. With arguably the league's best quarterback, the league's best head coach. I don't care who you want to... They didn't have him. They didn't have him. Bullshit. You're not playing that card with me. No. Why couldn't you make more plays, Pat? The ball was still in your hand 3 more times. 3 more times. Could have moved the ball. You could have. They could have easily have still scored a touchdown. Plenty of time left, especially with 2 timeouts. Easily have gotten in range for Butker, who can make a 60-yarder with the best of them. So the game ended on that play. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It took points off the board for you because you were in error before the snap, right? You had every opportunity to continue to move the football down the field and to go win the game or at least tie the game and send it to overtime or, give Buffalo, to 10 seconds or something like that, right? You failed. You failed. I also think something that's not being talked about enough is I think Pat knows that this year they don't have it. They don't. And he's in for a rude awakening this coming off season. A rude awakening. I just have a hunch, not guaranteeing it. I think Kelsey hangs him up. I think that he's got a lot of other stuff going on. And I think you can tell he's not the same player. He's not. First of all, he's already talked about retirement. He's talked about the amount of injuries that go into it and how banged up he's been and, continuing to have to go through these things just in order to play on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, whatever. Rude awakening. You lose that guy and your team continues to draft or add incapable receiving options. I think they got a good running back with Pacheco. Didn't play. Neither did Milano or Daquan Jones or Trey White. Much ado. I think he knows. He's not a dumb guy. He has dumb moments, not a dumb guy. I think he knows. I do. And I think that's part of the frustration. His cap hit's going to get bigger. And all of a sudden, it's tough. It's not easy. Not easy. So anyways, I don't have a lick of respect at all moving forward for the rest of his career for Mahomes because I will always go back to this moment. You showed me your true colors, and especially, and I forgot to even mention this, especially the way that he came up to Josh and was just continuing the bitch fest. And Josh just kind of slapped him on his, shoulder pad and said, "All right, bud, see ya." Classless, absolute class. This is not Zach Wilson you're shaking hands with at the end of a game. Okay? It's not Desmond Ridder. It's the guy that you deem a friend, and vice versa, right? It's a guy that you've had battle upon battle upon battle upon battle upon battle for the last 3 or 4 years against. And that's how you're going to treat that moment in time. You have to be able to shut it off for the 10 seconds that you're going to go up to him and hug and slap hands and whatever. Kelsey did it. Kelsey took the jersey off, swapped it with Kincaid. Here's a picture. Away we go. Kelsey was a part of that play. Remember, the Hall of Fame moment taken away from the Hall of Famer. Zero respect. And also on the head coach. Because he doubled down. Doubled down. They came out and said, hey, look, we, in the moment, got caught up. It was the right call. We need to be better. That's fine. Boom, away you go. I'm good. Now, everything that happens to you moving forward in your football life, you deserve. Good and especially bad. See what happens. Karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. It's funny. Pat said nothing about the call they got in the Super Bowl last year. Nothing. Wonder why. Gee. So, glad to get that out of the way there. On the game itself, a lot of good. A lot of gotta clean that up. This team needs to keep running the football. This team needs to keep running the football. And I'm not saying just run, but they have And especially if they can get Fournette involved, they have a potential four-headed monster. Again, you're damn right I would activate all four of them. That they can literally just take the soul out of teams. They did it to Kansas City in the first half. Until Josh did that pick. Bad throw. Can't do it. But Cook is running with a different purpose. Ty Johnson's phenomenal. Murray's Murray. And again, I think Fournette can add. So, they got away from it in the second half. They got away from establishing the run, continuing to run, and you would have thought that they were down by multiple possessions. The way that they just went away from running the football. So that can't happen moving forward, especially coming up against the opponent they got this coming Sunday. That's clicking on all cylinders. Get to that in just a second. But I liked what I saw out of the defensive line. I thought that they got good pressure. Decent pressure the entire game. And again, I just thought as a whole, what they went through the entire week, all that stuff, McDermott stuff, all that. Ty Dunn's plan to blow up the Bills season failed. That's what it was. His plan was, if I can do this now and they lose to the Chiefs and they have another blunder, which it was there, it potentially could have happened. Maybe they actually fire McDermott and I'm the one that can say that I got that done. That was Ty Dunn's thinking when he wrote that article. Complete headpiece. That's another guy that just doesn't deserve to be on this planet, but that's just my opinion. I think that it stinks with, a couple of the injuries, obviously. Epinesa clearly probably broke a rib, I would assume. He got just caked on when he went down by an offensive lineman after that phenomenal play. Incredible play. So that's going to sting. Hopefully he can come back maybe towards the end of the season, last game or two. Maybe he only misses a couple weeks. But he's week to week. And then, Micah Hyde, obviously week to week. That's another one that they might say, hey, well, let's IR him. He can come back against Miami, miss 3 games. We can activate him, open up his window, and just kind of give him, the next 3 off here. Who knows? But I also think for, all the Micah Hyde lovers out there, obviously I'm one of them, this has got to be his last go. This is now back-to-back years that, he has these neck problems and these consistent stingers, and it sucks. It is, but that's age. I think that physically he can still do it. I think he still has, the mental game and things like that, but I just think that this neck thing is going to prevent him, and it's really going to make him think too, because when you're talking about, shoulders and up, he's got kids, he's, family. Do they have kids or a kid? Well, whatever. It's tough. I feel as if his contract's up. Like, hopefully we can continue to what we've been doing and winning football games and make a deep run and heck, maybe even win the whole damn thing for him. But one negative, because with positives there are negatives. Definitely our offensive line's worst game this year. Josh was just running for his life. I mean, obviously the play that is not talked about enough. Clear catch by Murray, no doubt about it. Instantly said catch. They were bad. They were bad. Hey, kudos to Spags. Kansas City's got a talented group up front. They got Bolton back. He made some plays for them. But I think it's gonna be another big test on Sunday with Dallas. Obviously with Parsons and Lawrence They have their best run stuffer's hurt, though. Jonathan Hankins, he got hurt, dinged up, so that's good. Because again, run the football. But so again, all in all, with the performance that they got from who they got it from, obviously Cook was their best offensive weapon on Sunday, and I think he's probably their best weapon moving forward too, just with his ability to catch the ball, and the way Brady likes to scheme him up to get the ball out of the backfield is fantastic. Looking at you, Kurt Warner. I mean, Diggs was a no-show. Gabe was a literal no-show. So those are things I think that can be also viewed positively. It's like, hey, we didn't get anything out of our top two options receiving-wise, and we still obviously won the football game. You think when it's 14-0, they go up 14-0, and they're humming. Like, they're looking good. They're moving the football. Again, kudos to Kansas City. That they're the team that they've been for a reason. So was I expecting them to hang 44 on them? No. I felt that they were going to easily get into the mid to high 20s and maybe even low 30s. But, hey, it was enough to win the game. They did what they had to do, and they continue and push their season forward to, was looking like, again, they're heading in the right direction to go into the playoffs. There's a lot to still do. Like, this is not a guarantee by all means. They went out, yeah, they're in, obviously. They went out, they probably win the division. Thank you to the Tennessee Titans and Mike Vrabel for winning that football game on Monday night in Miami. That was fantastic. But, so I just... They did what they had to do. It was by any means necessary. Just get this game. Just win. It's a conference win. Get you. Stadium's going to be there on Sunday. It's gonna be it's going to be loud. It's going to be a playoff environment. And Dallas is, outside of San Fran, is probably playing the best football on anybody right now, especially offensively. So get them outside. Get them on a little chilly. A little chilly outside. The wind maybe a little bit. Maybe we can strike up a little wind. It actually looks like a really nice day for middle of December. But yeah, so, I think just kind of putting a bow on the Chiefs game. Who knows? Maybe we see him again. Maybe. You never know. Hell, Chiefs could lose out and miss playoffs. And would either shock you? It shouldn't. They're not playing good football right now. There's nothing that they've shown anybody over the last month to say that they're the same Kansas City Chief team. Sure, they played well against the Raiders in the second half. Okay, a lot of people do. But, I know they got a little cupcake schedule. I think they got New England this week. Let me get to the Chiefs here. Hang on one second. Bear with me. Chiefs at New England. Monday night at home against Vegas. Cincinnati and the Chargers. So, no Herbert. We'll get that benefit, obviously, next week. But, they're probably going to win at least 2, if not 3, if not all 4. They win all 4, they're 12-5. They win 2, they're 10-7. So, you never know. Denver could win that division. They're a game back. But, where are we on time here? 20, half hour. I wanted to do like a little playoff thing. I can do a screen recording, but it doesn't give me the video. So what I might do is maybe save that for the playoff breakdown here a little bit. We're in a good spot. We're in a really good spot. And obviously us beating Kansas City was number 1. But Tennessee beating Miami was gigantic. It allows us to still compete for the division if we do slip up against Dallas. Because Miami then plays Dallas after us. Then they play Baltimore. Then they play us. So if they lose both those games, which they can easily lose both of those games. Actually, I'm gonna probably, I am gonna sit here and say they're going to lose both of those games. Dallas and Miami. That leaves the division week 18. That game will probably be the Sunday night game, I would assume. With the other races, I don't see anybody else that might be for. I mean, unless going into that game that no matter who wins or loses, they're both in the playoffs and it's just for the division. If they do have a win in losing out scenario with another game, that's maybe where the NFL would go with that game. But it was just a gigantic game for us. And Tennessee tried to throw it away. Watch the whole thing. They really tried. And, 767 was the record. 14 point whatnot. But, so, again, all in all, we did what we had to do. And I think our mindset moving forward as a collective team, you see the hoodies, you see the shirts, it's Buffalo versus everybody. And they need to just, one game at a time, but they 1,000% can beat Dallas on Sunday. This is not a dream, everything's got to line up. You got to turn the ball over, or you got to get 4 turnovers. Can't turn the ball over. Got to get some bounce. No, not at all. Not at all. See how Dallas is outside in the cold. Let's see how they perform when they got to go on the road. They're undefeated at home. They hang like 38 a game at Jerry's World. But get them on the road. See what happens. Run the football. That needs to be the game plan, is to run the piss out of the ball. Control the clock. Do what teams did to us earlier in the year, where we're going to limit Buffalo's offensive possessions to make them have to be perfect to keep scoring, right? They're not going to get the ball 10, 12, 14 times. They're going to get it 8, 9, maybe 10 times. And it forces that offense to be perfect. That's what they have to do on Sunday against Dallas. Limit their possessions. Control the clock. Dallas loves to turn the ball over, too. Cause turnovers on defense. So they got to be on P's and Q's, man. P's and Q's. So we'll see what happens. We'll limit it here to a half. I know that there was a bunch. I might do that other video or that screen recording with the simulator. Excuse me, my hat's in front of my eyes. But all in all, hey, continue to do what you got to do. Win games. Play the way that they're capable of playing and continue to believe in what they can do, because everything is in front of them. I know we've been saying that here for a couple weeks now, but it is. And now everything's in front of you and you feel good about it. You don't feel like, oh man, we've lost 2 in a row. How are we going to get out of this rut? So go Bills, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully it's in a winning mood. Huh? All right. Catch you guys later.